I'd like to take a second to thank Joelle Daniel for starting off our ceremony with Amazing Grace. Joelle is a South native who served in the military from 1988 after high school and retired as a gunnery sergeant in the United States Marine Corps in 2012. Joelle is a professional bagpiper who models his attire after the Marine Corps dress blues and his tribute to his military service. So thank you, Joelle. And he's available for weddings if anybody's getting married soon, just so you know. My name is Sergeant Destiny Pacheco. You might have seen me before if you've been to one of these events, so welcome back. But on this 10th anniversary, I wanted to take a second and just introduce myself and kind of let you know what this monument means to me personally. So I grew up in San Dimas. I went to H.E.R.O.E.S Elementary School. I went to Lone Hill Middle School. I went to San Dimas High School. And after San Dimas High School, I joined the Marine Corps back in, not to date myself, but 1998. It was a while ago. And I served as a diesel mechanic. So when I got out of the Marine Corps, I came back to my hometown. I got my associate's degree from Citrus College, and I got my bachelor's degree from the University of Laverne. So I've been around here a while. When I got out of the Marine Corps, I went back to San Dimas High School and I served, and did my time as a softball coach. So I was a softball coach for a little bit at San Dimas High School. And my mom has worked at San Dimas High School and Lone Hill Middle School for over 20 years. She's excited to retire soon. But let's just say that San Dimas and the people in this community, you all, are kind of ingrained in my life. And I am truly honored to be here with you all. So the mission of San Dimas Heroes and the committee is to honor all the current military personnel throughout our city with our banner program and this monument. So we want to take a second to recognize all the past, present, and future San Dimas residents who are currently serving or have served, and the families who have served. It's a sacrifice if you're a family, and I know from my family. So we want to thank you all, to everybody who has helped kept us safe. So whenever I tell people that my name is on a monument, it makes me feel proud to know that a city where I came from and the committee members and the volunteers care enough about the military to keep the banner program and just getting the funding and doing all the work to keeping this monument up and running. So I want to start off by saying thank you to everyone who has given their time, their money, their energy to keeping this monument and the banner program a reality. And I'll say this at the end, but just a reminder, we're always looking for volunteers if anybody's out there. So just to keep this program running. So now I'd like to welcome the young Marines to do the posting of the colors. If I can ask everyone to please stand, and then we're going to remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance and the National Anthem. What's the colors?
What's colors? Ready? Ho! Right. Face. Forward. Heart. Up.
Thank you to the Young Marines. Again, please stay standing as we welcome back the Southland Young Marines and Cub Scout Pack 423 to say our Pledge of Allegiance.
We will now begin the Pledge of Allegiance. Please face the flag.
Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I ask that you please stay standing and help me welcome the San Dimas High School Chamber Singers to sing our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early lights what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched, we're so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
You may be seated. Thank you to the San Dimas High School Chamber Singers. Thank you to Joelle Daniel, our bagpipers, our young Marines, and our Cub Scouts for helping us start our ceremony. Next, I'd like to welcome our pastor, Jim Miller from Real Life Church, to lead us in our opening prayer. Jim?
Please bow your heads and pray with me. Lord God, we thank you for the gift of life. We thank you that you brought us into this world with purpose, intention, with meaning, and with love. We thank you that you walk next to us as we go through this life, that when we celebrate, you celebrate, and when we suffer, you mourn. I thank you that you walked among us as Jesus of Nazareth, that you might know this life with us. And I thank you that in the end, you lay down your life for us. So today we ask your blessings on those who have followed in your footsteps, laying down their lives for others. We thank you for our veterans and ask that you would bless them. Thank you that they put service before self and duty before comfort. Thank you for their families, who set aside what we would call normal and peaceful life so that others could enjoy that normal and peaceful life. Lord God, giver of all good gifts, bless and reward our veterans and their families with the abundance of your generosity. It's in Jesus' name that we pray. Amen.
Next, we are lucky enough to have H.E.R.O.E. Givens join our ceremony today. H.E.R.O.E. is a soulful singer-songwriter originally from Missouri who now lives in Southern California. And I'm not sure if she does weddings, but you can decide. So I'm sure she does. But please help me welcome H.E.R.O.E. Givens to sing America the Beautiful.
For beautiful, for spacious skies, for waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties, above the fruited plain, America, America, God shed his grace on me and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful, our hero was born in liberating strife. Immortal crowned all good with brotherhood, from sea to shining sea, from sea to shining sea, oh, from sea to shining sea.
If I had a chair to turn around on The Voice, I would turn my chair on that one. So again, she is available for weddings. Next up, I'd like to welcome our member of our board of directors, Eloise, so that you can learn a little bit more about our committee and our events today. So Eloise has been instrumental in this monument since the beginning for the past 10 years. So please help me give a warm welcome to Eloise Logan.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm so glad you're here, and I'm happy the parking wasn't as bad as we were thinking. So anyway, my name is Eloise Logan, and 39 years ago, my husband and I brought our 3 sons to San Dimas. During our life here in this city, both of us enjoyed being part of the H.E.R.O.E.S organization for many years. We never had any thoughts. We never did have any thoughts that we would become a military family one day. In May 2002, one of our sons died in a naval jet crash during a training in Pensacola. His twin brother continued to serve as a Marine pilot and at the Pentagon for many years. My husband and I never thought our sons would join the military, even though both of our fathers proudly served in World War II. However, 2 of our 3 sons chose to sign on the dotted line late in 2000. We knew that they were honoring our country as well as fulfilling their dreams to fly. Around 2004, Gary Enderly and Janie Grafe, our co-founders, and a few community members gathered together with an idea. They wanted to find a way to honor our San Dimas veterans and the individuals who were currently serving with banners. Lots of years have come and gone since the beginning of our vision. The many fundraisers, generous businesses, exceptional donors, and our citizens helped to make our monument grow to fruition in 2013. It's awesome that we can gather together in this place every Veterans Day for our celebration. And with today being the 10th anniversary, this is an amazingly beautiful monument. Our H.E.R.O.E.S organization has been able to welcome all veterans on our annual San Dimas Veterans Day gathering. Today, we welcome all and appreciate all our families and friends. We're here to support each of our veterans who gave their time and generosity to protect our freedoms, and we as citizens are able to enjoy in our country every day. Each November 11th, the H.E.R.O.E.S organization is honored to be able to place more resident names on our beautiful monument. Today, we have engraved 40 new names. We are proud that we have veterans on these walls from San Dimas, being from the Civil War through to today. We're also very happy to be continuing our banner program. These banners throughout the city remind us of all our active duty military persons who are giving their time. Someday, these brave residents will also be engraved on the granite walls. Through the years, this gorgeous monument has certainly become a place of honor, respect, and peacefulness. Also, visiting our amazing monument reminds us of the dedication of each person who took time out of their lives to protect and serve our country. Veterans, we are extremely appreciative and truly awed with the unselfish service and commitment. This monument, with its engraved names, and this Veterans Day are merely a small gesture of the importance of our veteran. The tasks you were assigned and that you completed during your service has made our country proud. our flags that wave freely up in the breeze, the walls that hold our San Dimas veterans' names, and the beautifully sculptured water feature are certainly meaningful symbols to the admiration that we have for all of you. And to all our veterans, please remember we will never forget your bravery, generosity, and how you ensured the freedoms for all of us. Thank you for coming this afternoon, and take care.
All right, thank you, Eloise, for the great welcome and the reflections. Now, something growing up in this amazing city, besides the loud trucks, is that you get to grow up with the people in it. All right. The next person I'm going to bring up is somebody who I've been around for many years, and I played softball with his daughters, Janelle and Brianna. And if you have been around any Little Leagues in San Dimas or anywhere, you know that all the parents decide to step in and coach. So I'm going to bring in my coach, and, you know, so he was a great coach, so I'm not going to say coach with quotation marks, but went on to, you know, to be a great coach. And he was a great coach, and we know that because his daughter went on to play after San Dimas High School, and we even got to become coaches after San Dimas High School. So, oh, the good old days when you get paid to coach. So next, I'd like to welcome the mayor of San Dimas, but known to me as once my Little League coach, Mayor Emmett Badar.
I will say one thing, she was great. She knew exactly how to put me in my place. You know, I sit here and look at us today, and I want to say, aren't we so fortunate? Look at tonight, in a beautiful place in San Dimas. We're here, this is the guy upstairs looks down upon us. We got great weather. It was a little cooler in the day, and all of a sudden now it's not so cool. In fact, it's a little warmer than I thought it was going to be. So the reality is that we're very, very fortunate to have organizations in this community, and this whole community was built around the community, the veterans, the people that believe in America, and I want to say, God bless America. And thank you guys for remembering the people that came before us who lived and died for making our freedom responsible. You know, there's one thing I must say, and I'd be kind of like remiss and in trouble if I didn't say that each branch of the military had to come about somewhere, somehow. So they all have birthdays. But yesterday was the Marine Corps' birthday. So I just want to say happy birthday, Marine, 248 years. And the city did not forget. They had a nice ball last night, and it was very, very nice. So at this point, I would like to just take a moment to introduce my partners on the San Dimas City Council. Ryan Vienna, Mayor Pro Tem. Councilman John Ebner. Councilman Eric Nakano. Eric Weber, who was also a United States Naval Service. You know, now I get the privilege of making a couple of announcements, not announcements per se, but introductions. I'd like to introduce Senator Susan Rubio. She flew down here from Sacramento, and at this point, she's going to come up and say a few words.
Good evening. It is such an honor and pleasure just to be in the presence of so many servicemen and women who have really, with great gratitude, I say thank you for allowing me to come and visit and be in your space since this is a day to honor you. I did fly in, but I've done approximately, I'm going to say 7 events this morning. And every time I learn something and I meet people. Earlier today, I was with someone that was 97. Then I went to another event, and a veteran told me he was going to be 100 next month. And so you start hearing the stories, and it just really fills my heart with joy just to see that they're still with us. And I know today we're here to honor our veterans, but I would like to take a moment to remember those that are no longer with us. I am a member of a military family. I come from a long line of members that have served from my uncle that served in the Korean War to another uncle that actually was on the ship when it was bombed during Pearl Harbor. And I remember my uncle, very elderly, over 90 years old, and telling the story of how he lost 20 of his good friends in that tragedy. And even then, he was still crying. He was telling the story because he felt such guilt that he came back and they didn't. And so to those that are still with us that serve, thank you. Thank you for your sacrifice. That only gives me a sense of the depth of trauma that you have to come back home with. It gives me a sense of how difficult it is to forget. You certainly come home, you get back to your families, but you don't forget. And I hope that all of us as a community don't forget. As I visited so many cities, right now I have 18 cities, so I've been to about 7 earlier today, and sometimes I'm saddened to see that only a few community members show up. So today, as I look around here in San Dimas, I'm so happy to see almost every seat right here filled. Where other cities, you have a few members of the community. So I hope that I encourage all of you. I mean, I don't need to since you're here, but we can encourage each other to really take a moment to come and recognize those that have paved the way, that have served, that have allowed us to be here in a safe space, in a safe community, having some time with each other. It is important for me to come and say personally, thank you. Thank you to all that have served. Thank you to all the military families, from the wives that stay behind to mourn or cry or suffer the consequence of not having their loved one. I have my little brother who just came back this past year from Germany, his wife, who's also in the military, my niece, my nephew, but I do know that even though they didn't go through conflict, my mom was always worried, my father, and they continue to worry because we don't know what they see, how they come back. So thank you for this moment, for the organizers of this wonderful monument. I know that it's important that we recognize you, and my sadness is that we come one day out of the year to gather and say thank you, but I think we all know that you deserve every single day to be recognized and thanked and really celebrated for everything that you've done on our behalf. So with honor, I say thank you. With humility, I say thank you for the permission to be here as I look around. I would like to recognize the president and organization for this wonderful tribute behind me for this monument, San Dimas Heroes. If I ask a representative to come up, please. Is the president here? As they come up, I just want to say, on behalf of the California State Senate, it is my honor and privilege to be here to recognize this wonderful time when you get to celebrate 10 years of putting the names of these heroes behind us, 10 years of honoring each and every member that has served and is now with us. I applaud your commitment to honoring all of those who have served with courage and respect for our great nation. Thank you for your continued dedication to our veterans, their families, and the community. So please, big round of applause to them. Thank you.
As you know, we have the state people that are responsible for us that we depend on so much. Senator Rubio, thank you very much. But more, just as important, is in our immediate realm is the Board of Supervisors for LA County, because we can't do anything without them agreeing to it. So Supervisor Catherine Barger unfortunately could not be here today, but representing her is Vicki Paul. Vicki, would you like?
Thank you, Mayor. Good afternoon, San Dimas. It is wonderful to see such a turnout of veterans, of their families, friends, and just people that are here to commemorate veterans that serve throughout their lives, serve their community, they serve their friends. They may not see combat, not all of them, but they are ready and willing at any moment to go where they need to go. And we are very fortunate that the H.E.R.O.E.S organization has this monument, that the city of San Dimas has assisted in having this here, that we have a beautiful remembrance daily, not just today, but every day that we can see this. Unfortunately, Supervisor Barger was not able to make it, but I am here representing her, and I wanted to make everyone aware that our field office, one of her field offices, is right across the street, and we have Veteran Services officers 2 days a week at our office. So if veterans need assistance with any benefits, their family members, you can go make an appointment at our office. And I will say we've been doing it for about 6 years now, and there are many people that say, I had no idea how many benefits I have that I didn't realize. So please take advantage of that. Once again, I wanted to thank the H.E.R.O.E.S organization and Gary Enderly. I know he's hiding, but I would love for him to come up, and if the board would like to come up, I would like to present a proclamation on behalf of Supervisor Barger and all the work that this organization does and has done for 10 years.
As we all know, a member of Congress, Grace Napolitano, has represented us for many, many, many years, and she's about ready to retire. And unfortunately, she couldn't be here this evening, but she wanted to make sure that she sent a congressional recognition. San Dimas Community Foundation Heroes, U.S. Congresswoman Grace F. Napolitano, proudly recognizes your exceptional service to honor the military personnel and veterans. Your commitment to pay tribute to our nation's veterans and their families deserves a very highest recognition and distinction. San Dimas Heroes Veterans Monument, 10th anniversary, signed Grace F. Napolitano. You know, many of us living here in San Dimas have looked around at our community, and most of everybody here has recognized the fact that this is the gem of the San Gabriel Valley. San Dimas is the gem. And I think that we ought to all recognize that everything that's ever happening here, because it's for this community. But as I stand here, do you see a more beautiful gem in this community than this Heroes Monument? I want to thank all the people that worked on it, all the people who put together. These things aren't cheap, and yet they made this happen with very minimal city funding. Property is naturally the city's, but this monument is the Heroes Monument, and I want to thank, Gary and that entire organization for the job that they've done. But there's another reason we're here today. We're actually here in the presence of royalty. How many of us here have reached the age of 100? Oh, I don't see many hands going up. Reached the age of 100. We have Miles Gordon Shepard. Mr. Shepard is right here. And the city of San Dimas and the Heroes organization want to honor you, sir. You've done a great job of staying fit. And he also said, please, please don't make this long. So he scored some points. So I'd like to just read a little proclamation from the city of San Dimas. Mr. Gordon, Mr. Shepard, was born in September 25th of 1923. Right? Am I right? I read it's good. Mr. Shepard started his career in the Army Air Corps in February 11th, 1943, and was discharged on January 14th, 1946 as a corporal. Throughout these years, Mr. Shepherd married his wife Betty, had their daughter, traveled to internationally and protected our nation. In appreciation of your service, courage, and most of all, your sacrifices in serving the United States Armed Forces, the San Dimas City Council recommends you and for your commitment and military service to our nation and residents of the city of San Dimas. In witness thereof, I, Mayor Emmett G. Badar, have hereon set my hand and caused this seal of the city of San Dimas to be affixed this 11th day of November. Mike. I was informed a little earlier that Mr. Shepherd prefers the name to be called Mike. Even though his birth name was Miles, he likes Mike. Mike, maybe your daughter could help you come up? There you go, there you go. Mike says if you guys could all sit down, he's going to get a glass of water and he has about a 20-minute speech. You know, Mike left the Army Air Corps in 1943, or 46 rather. And in 1947, the Army Air Corps changed its name to something called the United States Air Force. So, and I'm speechless when I look out here and I see the people and the people that care about what we belong to as a country. Okay, at this time, thank you very much. Let's enjoy the evening. There's some more things to happen, and it's going to get a little cooler.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Shepherd. I hope I'm moving like you soon. Thank you, Mayor Badar, Senator Rubio, Congresswoman Napolitano, and Vicki Paul for representing Catherine Barger. For the next portion of the ceremony, we will be playing each branch's service song. So we'd like to thank the Southland Young Marines who will be helping raise each flag. For those of us that have served, know kind of what these songs mean to each of us. They're meant to inspire and preserve tradition for each branch. And these songs have a special meaning for each and every one of us once we hear them. Each branch member stands up a little bit taller, and we get just a little bit straighter when we hear our branch's song. So, as each song plays, we ask that if you served in that branch, or are serving, that you please stand while your branch's song is played. And I'd like to welcome Tim Gerard from our Board of Directors to lead this portion of our service. Tim?
Good evening, and thank you for joining us for our 10th anniversary of our monument dedication here at Freedom Park. The first flag we're going to raise is the United States Army. Next is the United States Marine Corps. the United States Navy, the United States Air Force, the United States Coast Guard, Next, we'll raise the California state flag.
I love you, California. You're the greatest state of all. I love you in the winter, summer, spring, and in the fall. I love your fertile valleys, your dear mountains I adore. I love your grand old ocean, and I love her rugged shore. When the snow-crowned golden Sierras keep their rock.
And if you can, please stand while we raise the American flag.
I want to take a second to recognize if we have any current active duty service members, if you could please stand. Any current active duty service members, if you could please stand. Thank you. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you for your service. If you can please help me welcome back Shay. She's going to sing God Bless America.
America, land that I love, stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above, from the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans wide with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, land that I love, stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above, from the mountains to the prairies, through the oceans wide with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet
I'm telling you, 4-chair turn right there if you watch The Voice. Thank you, Shay. I'd now like to welcome Laura Alvarado. Laura is a dedicated committee member, and she'll be reading the names that were just unveiled right here that will be added to the monument this year. We're going to ask that you please hold your applause. Please hold your applause until the end, which is the last name is Young. If you could please hold your applause to the end of the names, and I'd like to welcome Laura.
Alan H. Agronovitz, Army. Anthony E. Barragan, Army. Matthew C. Bartlett, Army. John M. Basile, Marine Corps. Manuel J. Beltran, Army. Pedro Berumen, Marine Corps. George V. Boylan, Army. Leon L. Bird, Army. Roman J. Carlos, Army. Julian D. Chan, Army. Paul A. Davies, Army. Frederick M. Dominguez, Navy. John P. Dowling, Army. Mel Enderly, Navy. Benjamin D. Fuller, National Guard. Larry W. Gilson, Marine Corps. Richard Gutierrez, Army. Jacqueline A. Heathcote, Air Force. Austin Z. Hill, Marine Corps. Lorenzo Hinojosa, Army. Christopher Islas, Navy. Samuel M. Cason, Army. Richard M. Keyes, Air Force. Carlos D. Lemus, Army. Robert L. Macias, Marine Corps. Richard Morris, Navy. Howard D. Nussbaum, Navy. Neil W. Odian, Navy. Clarence M. Pate III, Navy. George D. Preston, Jr., Navy. Carlos A. Renowitsky, Army. Corey D. Roy, Marine Corps. Miles D. Shepard, Army Air Force, World War II. Gregory J. Smaldino, Coast Guard. Dominic C. Torres, Marine Corps. Arthur Uberno, Navy. Ernest L. Vasquez, Air Force. Richard J. Vasquez, Air Force. Peter Yanez, Army. William E. Young, Navy. As of last year, we have lost a few of our veteran family members. I'd like to read their names now. Carlos Lemus, Paul Davies, Richard Vasquez, Samuel Cason, Carl Harstein, Larry Gilson. I'd like to take a brief moment of just in your thoughts to keep them in your family and your hearts. If your name was called and added to the wall this year, if you can please stand. We thank you for your service, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen. And now please welcome Shay back to sing God Bless the USA.
If tomorrow all the things were gone I worked for all my life, I had to start again with just my children and my wife. I thank my lucky stars to be living here today, 'cause the flag still stands for freedom and they can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American, at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the man who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, from sea to shining sea, from Detroit down to Houston, and New York to LA. Well, there's pride in every American heart, and it's time we stand and say that I'm proud to be an American, well, at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the man who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. right to me, and I'd gladly stand up next to you and thank her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
I think I sound like that in the shower, but I don't. Thank you, Shay. Next up, we have Joe Mercier, our commander from the San Dimas and Glendora American Legion post of 475, to explain to us the POA MIA Table of One.
Today, Americans across the country will pause to remember the U.S. service members who never came home, either living or dead. This day is one of 6 in which Congress mandates the flying of the POW MIA flag. The others are POW MIA Recognition Day, Armed Forces Day, Memorial Day, Flag Day, and Independence Day. The American Legion is committed to achieving a full accounting of all POW MIAs from all war eras. This means returning living POWs, the repatriation of their remains, or finding convincing evidence of why neither is possible. Resolution 288, adopted at the 67th National Convention, calls for designating an empty chair at all official Legion meetings as an official symbol of the thousands of American POW MIAs still unaccounted for. Legion's commitment to this issue was reemphasized at the 94th National Convention. Resolution 78 states that the American Legion remains steadfast in our commitment to the goal of achieving the fullest possible accounting for all U.S. military personnel and designated civilian personnel missing and unaccounted for from our nation's wars. Those who have served and are currently serving in the uniformed service of the United States are ever mindful that the sweetness of enduring peace has always been tainted by the bitterness of personal sacrifice. We are compelled to never forget that while we enjoy our daily pleasures, there are others who have endured and may still be enduring the agonies of pain, deprivation, and imprisonment. Now we pause to recognize our POWs and MIAs. We call your attention to this small table, which occupies a place of dignity and honor. It is set for one, symbolizing the fact that members of our armed forces are missing from our ranks. They are referred to as POW MIAs. Remember. We call them comrades. They are unable to be with their loved ones and families, so we join together to pay humble tribute to them and to bear witness to their continued absence. Remember. The table is small, symbolizing the frailty of one prisoner, alone against his or her oppressors. Remember. The tablecloth is white, symbolic of the purity of their intentions to respond to their country's call to arms. Remember. The single rose in the vase signifies the blood that they may have shed in sacrifice to the freedom of our beloved United States of America. This rose also reminds us that family and friends are missing comrades who keep faith while awaiting their return. Remember. The red ribbon on the vase represents an unyielding determination for a proper accounting of our comrades who are not among us. Remember. A slice of lemon on the plate reminds us of their bitter fate. Remember. The salt sprinkled on the plate reminds us of the countless fallen tears of families as they wait. Remember. The glass is inverted. They cannot toast with us at this time. Remember. The chair is empty. They are not here. Remember. The candle is reminiscent of the light of hope, which lives in our hearts to illuminate their way home, away from their captors, to the open arms of a grateful nation. Remember. The American flag reminds us that many of them may never return and have paid supreme sacrifice to ensure our freedom. Remember. Let us pray to the Supreme Commander that all of our comrades will soon be back within our ranks. Remember. And never forget their sacrifice. Remember. May God forever watch over them and protect them and their families. Remember.
Thank you, Commander. I know we're losing daylight. Don't worry, we have lights that will turn on at the end of our ceremony. We're almost done. Next up, I'd like to welcome our president and co-founder of San Dimas Heroes. For the past 10 years, this man has been working hard to get this program up and running and to make this monument become a reality. And we wouldn't be standing here today without his hard work and his perseverance. Gary was drafted into the Vietnam War. Can't imagine being drafted. You get voluntold. It's not fun. We, as a committee, want to thank Gary for his volunteer hours, his countless events that he has planned, the farmers markets he's worked, the city meetings that he's attended, and thank you, Gary, for your leadership throughout these past 10 years. If you can please help me welcome our president and co-founder, Gary.
Get to change hats. Taking off my Vietnam veteran's hat and put on my true hat. Don't know if you can see it. Grumpy old vet. First thing I'd like to do, and I'll try to get through this real quick, is thank our contributing sponsors, which is Foothill Gold Line. They have some literature over there if you'd like to get some information on that. The terraces at Via Verde, she also has some things over there if you want to stop by her table after this is over with. Forest Lawn provided our singer and our bagpiper. Via Verde Dental, Pro AV is our sound company. QIP Printing, Matty K's, Hometown Rental, and Sanders Towing. One thing about running a little bit late, I'm not going to be able to read what I wrote. But what I'd like to do is give you a little bit of background history of our the things that we've been doing over the past 18 years. Back around 2006, I started the military banner program honoring all of our current military personnel that live in San Dimas. The reason I did this was because I know what it was like when I was serving in Vietnam and when I came back, and I didn't want to see that happen again. While I was working on this project, I met Janie. Oh, thank you. I met Janie Grafe, who was a longtime resident in San Dimas, and I talked to her about the possibility of building a permanent monument for our veterans in San Dimas. Janie had a special interest in this because she had a brother who served in Vietnam and came home and had a lot of problems adjusted and finally committed suicide. At this time, we made a commitment that we're going to do the best we can to build a monument honoring all our veterans in San Dimas. This is when San Dimas Heroes was actually born. Janie is no longer with us, but she had a lot to do with the development of this monument. Without the dedication and hard work, what you see here tonight would have never happened. Janie is sorely missed. I fortunately had the opportunity to work with our general contractor, Eddie Martinez, to help at the design of the monument. Both of us take a lot of pride in what we accomplished here. "13 years ago, we became a nonprofit 501c3 organization and started raising funds to build our monument. In a little over 2 years, we raised over $350,000. Our committee members' dedication had a lot to do with this. It was amazing to see the outpouring and support of our community. We received donations from both individuals and businesses. Several fundraisers were held, including a comedy night with Fritz Coleman, a bake sale at Benelli Park, and of course, our Field a Helmet on the corner of Bonita and Arrow Highway. I will never forget some of the donations that we received in our helmet days. There was one young boy, I'd say he was about 7 or 8, that came up with his piggy bank and dumped all of his contents of the bank into one of our helmets. Then we had another lady that came by, honked her horn at us, went around again, came back, and handed us a $100 bill. I had the privilege to bring the Vietnam Wall here, the wall that heals, in 2018 at Lone Hill Middle School. I have to admit that was part of my healing process. During that time, we had over 11,000 people that attended the Wall That Heals. We had over 100 volunteers that worked endlessly during the 4 days it was here, including all of our committee members that were there most of the time. 10 years ago, we dedicated this Veterans Monument. A big shout out to everyone who had anything to do with the development of this monument. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. After 18 years tonight, I have decided to pass on the torch. This will be my last official event as president of the H.E.R.O.E.S. I will always be co-founder along with Janie and will continue to help in any way that I can. But it's time to move on. I would like to thank all the past and current committee members for their support. We would be here all night if I were to name all the people that had to do with the development of this monument, but you all know who you are. Just know that you are very much appreciated. And I've said many times, and I'll say it again, this isn't our organization's monument, nor is it the city's monument. It's your monument. With that said, thanks again, and God bless.
We appreciate your dedication to this committee and all that you do for the city and the heroes. I'd now like to ask Joelle to come back up and play our taps. We're almost done. Does anybody actually know the origin of taps or why we play taps? My uncle is an AP history teacher, and I'm going to ask him to come up and give you the history of taps. Just kidding. We don't got time for that. All right. Taps was originated as a signal of lights out during the Civil War so that everybody would turn their candles off. But now taps is also a call to remembrance of those who gave their lives in the service of our great nation. So, Joelle? You may be seated. I'd like to now ask that the young Marines retire the colors. So please stand while we retire the colors.
Retire colors.
You may be seated one last time. Again, I want to thank everyone who has made this monument possible, not only for the past 10 years, but have made today possible. We want to send a special thank you to everyone, for all of our sponsors, for all of our volunteers. Thank you to the San Dimas Heroes Committee, who have worked throughout the year to put this program together and put today together. Thank you, Shay. I would definitely turn 4 chairs. Our Cub Scouts, our Life Pacific University volunteers, our San Dimas High School Chamber Singers, the Young Marines, Bonita High School volunteers, Joelle Daniels, our bagpiper, Jim Miller, our pastor, Joe Mercer for celebrating and sharing the table of one, and to our distinguished guests. If you have any desire to help for another 10 years and keep this monument running, please stop by our booth. We are always looking for more volunteers. We are also giving out more magnets, so if anybody wants to buy another magnet, if you haven't gotten one already, you can stop by and get one for your family, or if you want to purchase more, we're selling them for $3. Again, thank you for joining us today and helping this amazing city, which I love so dearly, our place that we get to call home. Thank you to everyone who has served, who is currently serving. We are the home of the free because of the brave. So I'd like to thank everyone and welcome Joelle back as our closing song. And as our closing song is playing, you are welcome to come up and visit our monument, and we are going to turn the lights on for you so that you can take pictures. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Have a great day.